Stoic leadership is more about embracing adversity. It's more outgoing and embracing, focusing on courage and facing death. Introverted leadership, on the other hand, is more about power, intelligence, tactics, politics, reading people, thinking steps ahead. It's a mix of chess and poker. My name is Saint Simon and I welcome you to a new movie analysis. Today we're tuning into the Peaky Blinders universe. The following episode contains the following themes: the art of introverted leadership, the art of power, the art of leverage, and the art of rhetoric. Let's dive together into the world of Thomas Shelby and the art of introverted leadership. Opening shot. Ladies and gentlemen, Thomas Shelby. Thomas is the king in the streets, playing a show, making the powder trick. Here we see the first use of the art of leverage. Thomas employs drama to create suspense and thereby promote his horse, encouraging more people to bet on it to increase his potential earnings.
The horse's name's Monaghan Boy. Kempton, 3 o'clock, Monday. You ladies have a bet yourselves, but don't tell anyone else.
He's using the art of leverage effectively to create an opportunity for increased income. 1990, Birmingham. The beginning. The story of Thomas Shelby. This is where the hero starts.
What does a 10-year-old know about hell, eh?
I'm 11 Sunday.
Thomas is good with children because he's a kind character. Even though he's a criminal, he has a good heart. This is where we introduce to Thomas. Thomas, the kind character. Thomas' strategy has worked. People now bet on his horse. More bets means increased income. He successfully leveraged the revenue of their betting house. The art of leverage is all about creating opportunities and turning disadvantages into advantages. The art of power. Older brother, middle brother. Who is in power? Arthur is the oldest brother and Thomas is doing things behind his back, not telling him or the other family members. Thomas' strategy is not playing power game against Arthur, but to calm him down.
Times are hard. People need a reason to lay a bet.
Thomas is in a hard situation, in disadvantage. He is in charge of making money, but the people have less to bet with.
It helps them believe.
This is the art of leverage. He turns his disadvantage into an advantage. If people have less, then they need more reason to bet. He uses drama and showmanship to create a story around his horse, and so a reason to bet. This way he outperforms the other betting houses.
You think we can take on the Chinese and Billy Kimber?
As Thomas expands their territory, he consequently makes bigger, more powerful enemies. But Arthur is afraid of taking on bigger enemies because of the potential risk. What is the difference between Thomas and Arthur?
Think, Arthur. That's what I do.
Arthur is in this example of what they call alpha male, and Thomas is what they call sigma male. Arthur is loud and outgoing, while Thomas is quiet and inward focused. Arthur is powerful through his physical dominance, and Thomas is powerful through his intelligence and calmness under pressure.
I think, so that you don't have to.
We meet the agent, who carefully studies his targets. We learn that Thomas was in war and that he received a medal for bravery. Thomas enters the bar. Now we are introduced to the Shelby persona. This is the persona that Thomas plays in public, a persona of fear, a cold aura. This is again the art of power, what you find in Machiavelli's The Prince and whenever it's better to be loved or feared. Thomas plays the Shelby persona to be feared and respected. People on the streets are afraid of him. People in the bar are afraid once he enters the room. The Shelby persona establishes his power on the streets. Freddy starts power game, but Thomas is non-reactive, meaning that he is master of his emotions. Staying calm under pressure is one of the key principles in leadership.
You don't bet.
Listening and observing more than talking is one of the key principles of introverted leadership. Freddy comes closer, attempting to crack Thomas to get inside his head. The proximity is closer, he's physically nearer, as a physical threat, intimidating. But Thomas remains non-reactive, not even looking at Freddy. Now after Thomas observed Freddy, he speaks out and points out all of Freddy's weaknesses to get into his head, making strong eye contact. Chaos breaks out, but Thomas remains calm in a stressful situation. He takes control, bringing order to the chaos. Here we see the effects of war, the PTSD that everyone carries with them, each handling it differently. The agent enters the city. Powerful appearance. We're introduced to the other members of the family, Aunt Polly and Brother John. Family meeting.
He's the chief inspector.
Thomas also did his homework about the agent.
The last 4 years,
He's been clearing the IRA out of Belfast.
Thomas is powerful because he studies his enemies. His principle of studying his enemy is of Sun Tzu, the art of war. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need no fear the results of 100 battles.
Why didn't you tell me?
Once again we see the power game between Thomas and Arthur. Thomas is acting behind Arthur's back, not talking about his moves and tactics. Arthur feels his authority is in danger.
I'm telling you.
But Thomas maintains his strategy, calming Arthur down.
This family does everything open. You have nothing more to say to this meeting, Thomas?
No.
Arthur is easily calmed down, but Polly is intelligent. She can see through Thomas. She sees that he has something to hide. Thomas and Polly meet at neutral place. Polly is intelligent and knows that Thomas has something to hide. She also understands that he won't reveal it in front of the others, so she meets him in private to find out.
Speak. God and Aunt Polly are listening.
We learn that Thomas has an ace. Thomas stole a shipment from the government, a shipment of guns, enough to support an army. Now Polly is furious for the same reason as Arthur. She recognizes the danger that comes with it and the risks that Thomas is taking. Thomas takes risks to achieve greater wins. He uses his intelligence to make wise use of the circumstances he presented with, creating new opportunities for leverage. The agent has also an ace up his sleeve, a secret spy among the Peaky Blinders. We see the police station, a relaxed, warm and comfortable place. The policemen have a nice time. Now we are fully introduced to the agent. The agent has an aura of power. All get silent in fear once he enters the room. Now we see the art of rhetoric. Upon his arrival, the first thing the agent does is make a public speech. This is his first impression on the policeman. The art of rhetoric. 1. Pauses. He is silent, hands holding the table, creating suspense and anticipation. He uses drama by turning to the audience and starting a speech. 2nd. Enumeration and vivid speech.
Babies, girls, fathers.
In enumeration, he paints multiple dark pictures of the city, evoking strong emotions of guilt and disgust. 3. Metaphor and biblical speech.
And astride the whole stinking pile of wounds and rotten flesh.
He illustrates vivid pictures with words using biblical language to add a layer of suspense and to highlight more corruption of policemen. God is judging upon you. 4. Direct engagement.
Your masters.
He points directly at the audience, using immersive body language, engaging them by drawing them into the speech. 5. Antagonization.
The Peaky Blinders.
This is a powerful method to foster a team feeling known as enemy mentality, us versus them. First he depicts the city in dark terms, then associates it with the Peaky Blinders as antagonists of the story, creating so a strong contrast. Us, the moral policemen, against them, the criminal scum. 6. Antithesis.
You are worse than them.
He emphasizes the guilt of the Peaky Blinders, but the policemen are worse for tolerating it, for letting it happen. He fuels their guilt, reminding them on their duty as policemen to restore order. 7. Promise of change.
It is my job to decapitate each one, and by God, I will do it.
He delivers a grand speech with bold promises about bringing down the Peaky Blinders, positioning himself as leader and shepherd who will guide them through the valley of darkness. Conclusion of speech. The agent makes a strong first impression with a compelling speech. He reminds the policemen of their duty to motivate them and antagonizes the Peaky Blinders to create an enemy mentality. We against them, and him as a leader. He also brought his own army, which executes his orders unquestioningly. In general, it's an intelligent chess move, cleaning up corruption, stripping the Peaky Blinders of their advantage, namely their police protection. Here we see that the agent is using immoral methods, going into the offensive, beating up Arthur, establishing him as superior opponent. But unlucky for him, he has the wrong lead to get the weapons. But another plan of the agent starts to roll. Thomas is interested in Grace.
He said Mr. Churchill went into Birmingham.
Here we again see a key principle of introverted leadership, letting others speak and observe. Instead of instantly reacting, Thomas lets Arthur speak. Through observation, Thomas sees that Arthur is unaware of the guns in his possession. Arthur wants to work with the agent together, and Thomas is thinking how he can use the situation to his advantage, how he can use the weapons as leverage. Arthur doesn't know about the guns, But Polly knows about the guns, and now she knows that Thomas has not dumped them like she told him to do and instead kept them. In public, Thomas plays the Shelby persona, but we see his true self inside, a man with a heart. Thomas is a kind character in a dark world, striving to escape from it. He views the weapons as leverage, as a ticket to a brighter golden life. Then, coincidentally, Grace enters his life, like an angel. Grace makes eye contact with Thomas, unafraid of his Shelby persona. She sinks directly into his heart. But Thomas remains non-reactive, not showing any emotion or reaction. Here we see that Tommy also suffers from PTSD and uses consumables to run away and numb the pain. We see how he is haunted by traumas of the past, reliving traumatic memories of war. More pressure for Thomas. Agent meets with Winston Churchill. We see here that Agent is not who he pretends to be. Thomas is a moral character who plays an immoral persona, while the Agent is an immoral character who plays a moral persona. He pretends to be powerful and intelligent, but here we see that inside he is weak and insecure, using immoral methods to get results. Winston Churchill, on the other hand, is a man of character. He was at war and can read people. He sees through the Agent and warns him about his immoral methods, putting pressure on him. Thomas is now under pressure, but the Agent is also under pressure.
They've shown their hand.
Thomas has a new strategy how to use the weapons as benefit, how to use them as leverage to deal with the Agent. Other members of family also warn Thomas, but Thomas remains non-reactive, showing his Shelby persona, letting no one near himself.
By order of the Peaky Blinders.
Life has given Thomas the opportunity to rise, and Thomas sees and claims that opportunity, playing his cards with intelligence. Not everyone can handle traumas like Thomas. Once again, Thomas is faced with a hard decision. His friend panicked and caused trouble with the Italians. Thomas now has to address the situation. Utilizing the art of leverage, he turns this adverse situation again into his advantage. He employs drama, the art of drama, to pretend to deal with him. This move prevents a war with the Italians, saves his friend's life, and cleverly recruits him as a spy, now sent to London to gather intel.
It bloody won. Monaghan boy, bloody won!
Yeah, it won. And you know what? They always will win again.
Thomas is now fixing races to boost his income revenue. He sees the opportunity to expand his business and move into a higher league, using the guns as leverage. Even though Arthur initially opposes Thomas' plans, he realizes that Thomas has a strategy and trusts him. Thomas is now established as the head of the family. And what an episode! We learned a lot about the art of leverage, like we saw in multiple situations how Thomas turned a disadvantage into an advantage. We saw multiple times the usage of drama, the art of drama and showmanship. We saw principles of introverted leadership, like let other talk and observe. And we saw an example of a public speech to learn more about the art of rhetoric. This was truly an exciting episode. I'm excited to see how Thomas plans to get off the dark world he's living in and how he will deal with the new powerful enemies he made. Tune with me the next week when we dive into the second episode of the first season of the Peaky Blinders series. My name is Saint Simon and I'm glad to have you here. Thank you for watching, subscribe to the channel and tune again next week.